Hello and welcome to this video. As you can tell by the title, this video is about Halsey's newest album, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. I actually filmed a first time listening reaction video for this album, but it was blocked, which I kind of had a feeling it was going to get blocked because of the fact that this is also in IMAX theaters as a movie. So I wasn't entirely shocked, but I really wanted to talk about this album and show some clips of me hearing it for the first time. So I am going to do a little album review while also featuring some clips of me hearing some of my favorite songs for the first time over top of me talking. So I do apologize that there isn't going to be much audio of me actually listening, but that is all due to copyright. But this is the best compromise that I can come up with to show my first time reactions, even though I can't have the audio. So please bear with me, and I hope you will keep watching this video because I do have a lot of thoughts about this album. I think this album is a very pivotal moment for Halsey. So if you'd like to hear my thoughts about this album as a whole and the songs I enjoy most, then please keep watching. I have notes on my phone of my overall thoughts as well as some notes about particular songs. So if you see me looking at my phone, it's because I want to make sure that I am saying everything that I exactly mean. And sometimes just writing it down is better than me rambling. First, I want to talk about my overall thoughts about the album before I go into the songs. And the first thing I want to say, which I already kind of touched on in my intro, is I really feel like this is peak Halsey in artistry. I wrote down, this is art. This is Halsey not caring about what's popular or what will be successful commercially. This is her letting her true creative self shine with an album that feels perfect to her as an artist. And what I mean by that is Halsey has some very wildly popular smash commercial hits. We all know them and we all know those songs, but you can always tell in her music that she is a wildly creative person. I mean, she's always had gorgeous lyrics. She definitely values the art of written word. And I think this album musically is her just letting go and creating exactly what she's always wanted to create without thinking about commercial success or what's going to play on the radio, this, that, or the other. The result of that is something that is so perfectly her. And so here are a few takeaways that I have from the album upon my first listen. Thing number one that I loved is that throughout the whole album, there were many songs that had like very rapid paced beats happening with the music, but the melody of her singing was at a completely different pace. That happened on a few different songs throughout the album that were scattered about, where the music was very intense and fast and like just rapid, but then her voice was doing something totally different. So it was definitely mismatched in that regard, but obviously it all worked out. And this is something that happens on other albums too, but I just noticed that it was one of her consistent themes throughout this album, which I have a feeling visual wise is probably really insane. I have not seen the visual to the album, but I could just hear this music and I could just tell that the visuals that she had paired up with the music are probably just so like creative and storytelling, and I can only imagine how the visuals pair up with the music, especially during those particular songs. What I also enjoyed, while you have those very rapid paced songs, there were ballads and slower songs scattered throughout the album too, which gave a much needed breather. I think because if you just had something that was so full force the whole time, it can be very draining and overwhelming to listen to for that long of a period of time. So I think it was very strategic in pacing the album and slowing it down at moments to let the listener just kind of like breathe in, breathe out, and take in a totally different side where it's definitely not like a bathroom break song by any means, but it's more so like since the pace of the music has calmed down, you can focus even more on her wonderful lyrics and singing and just absorb that side of it a little bit more. And I thought that that was very smart to do throughout the album. Another point on this album that I think has to be said, that most people have said, is rocker Halsey has arrived. And I have been waiting for this for a very, very long time because I have always thought that rock style music would suit her because her tone of voice, first of all, she has a very wide range. She is very good with her delivery and feeling emotion in her voice. But thirdly, she just has a very nice natural raspiness to her voice that I've always thought like her singing rock would sound so cool. And I was correct. Her singing rock style songs sounds very cool, and I think it matches up so well. So I was happy that we had not just one track, but like a handful of tracks where that was the vibe. And I was just like, yes, it has arrived, it has come, and I think it suits her perfectly. And then the last thing I want to say about the album as a whole before I go into individual songs and some first time listening clips is that, unsurprisingly, her lyrics remain vivid. Her lyrics just tell a very clear picture of what she wants the listener to create in their minds visually, if that makes sense. She is very poetic and has a very, I'm trying to think of the right phrase, but she has a very, I keep saying vivid, but she has a very direct way of writing that it's open to interpretation, but it's direct in that it's so picturesque. Like her words are very good at painting a picture for the listener. That's what I love about her lyrics is that it can be very open where the listener's mind can wander. At the same time, it is direct and detailed enough that it creates a clear-cut picture of what she might want you to be envisioning. That probably doesn't make any sense, but in my brain, it makes sense. It's like she's got this fine line where you have the ability to kind of go off in your own world, yet you know exactly where she's at in her world. That's as best as I'm going to get at describing that. Now I'm going to go into a few songs that immediately caught my attention upon my first listen. And while I am talking about them, I'm going to have clips over top of me hearing these songs for the very first time. So let's go ahead and start with the opener, The Tradition. What a beautiful, beautiful opener it is. It's very eerie piano. Like, it is not pretty and sweet piano by any means. It is eerie, and the overall vibe is also eerie. Her voice sounds kind of peculiar at times in the verses where her delivery is very, I would say her delivery is very intentional in adding to the vibe of the song overall. And the bridge, oh my goodness, the bridge with her harmonizing with herself is just incredible. It is an immediate display of her wonderful range and tone, and her voice layered up together. It just sounds very beautiful and kind of piercing, but in a, it's just a really, really pretty, it's just a really pretty combo. Bells and Sannta Fe is song number 2. I'm going to talk about the first 3 songs. I'm just going to be honest and say that because I think they're so strong. And Bells and Sannta Fe is a slow burn. It's a slow burn, but I knew it was going to go there because this song begins the theme of having fast-paced beats over a slower singing melody. And it just builds up until the outro where it just explodes and becomes a bit chaotic. Not even a bit chaotic. It just becomes pure chaos. And it leads us right into Easier Than Lying, which is the first rock Halsey track of the album. The note I put on my phone literally says, Rock Halsey in all her glory, and that is the best way of describing it. It keeps up with the very fast-paced tempo music, but this time it switches to the drums, and this time her melody and singing is keeping up with the pace. I mean, it is a genuine rocker. It's an explosion. You hear her wonderful raspiness in the chorus. It's everything I could ask for and more. Girl is a Gun is another fast-paced, not so much rock, but more electronic sort of song that I think will be very popular. I think it'll be a song that a lot of people are going to be inclined to listen to most from the album. That was kind of my immediate first thought with it, was that we were continuing the theme with faster paced beats, but then also I enjoyed the lyrics to Girl is a Gun, but I knew it was going to be a song that was going to do well, I think, with the fan base overall. I think it has a very classic Halsey sort of vibe to it. Next, I want to talk about You Asked for This. You Asked for This really surprised me because it was more rock Halsey, but in a totally different way. This was definitely aligning with like that 90s girl grunge era. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It's like as soon as I heard You Asked for This begin to play and the style of the music and even her singing on it, it all felt very like 90s girl grunge. That was a definite era of music. There might be a more specific term for this era, but I just cannot remember it if it is there. But do you know what I mean when I'm saying that? Because I know exactly what I mean. It's like this pocket of time in music that is very distinguished and has a sound that if you've heard it, you know exactly what I mean. Let me know in the comments if you have any idea what I'm talking about, or if this is just all in my own brain and I've completely lost my mind. 1121 is one that I really, really enjoy because it has the eerie piano again, but we also have the electronic kind of elements coming into the chorus and the verses, and the repeating beats are happening again. And what I think about this one is I think that this one has the potential to translate to radio. I think that this one is one of the couple songs on the album that could break away and maybe have some radio play potentially. Once again, I do not think that Halsey has any intention for this album to have any radio songs, but if there were to be a song that the fans could take and run with to be popular on radio, I feel like this one could have that potential. I just like it because it's eerie, but it's a very beautiful song, and it is a wildly great storytelling song. And I think that's just what immediately caught my attention. And I definitely am looking forward to continue to listen to it and kind of break it down a little bit more. This song is definitely going to be an iconic one from this album, and that is I Am Not a Woman, I'm a God. This one, without a doubt, I could see translating into mainstream music 1000%. I love the unique elements of the music production, and it is very, very catchy, and I love her vocals on it. I love her vocals on this whole album, but I really like the vocals on the chorus. It's very memorable, catchy, and I think without a doubt this one probably will translate into radio play or just commercial play overall. It is a power anthem. It is a power anthem, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to the lyrics and the music of it. The last song I want to talk about is the last song on the album, and I will probably butcher the name because I did not look it up, but this is the best guess that I have. Ya Auburnie. I'm just going to roll with it. It's probably totally wrong, but it's what I'm going with for now. And I just wanted to include this one because it is definitely a more tender moment on the album. It is incredibly touching, and I think it is a beautiful way for her to wrap up the album and wrap up kind of where she is in her life right now. I mean, she is in a stable relationship and she just gave birth to a child, and I think that this song really kind of ties up where she is at in her life and how she is feeling with the people in her life and her little family that she has created. And I just thought it was very beautiful. So overall, I think that this is such a strong album for Halsey, and I am so excited that she has finally made the album that I think that she has always been ready to make. It just feels right. It feels like this matches up with everything that she is all about so well. And I applaud her for just going for it. I applaud her for finally just being like, who cares? I'm going to make what I want to make and make the art I want to make. I think it's really paying off. I think it's paying off in a big way. I think a lot of people are loving it. Fans are loving it, critics are loving it, and rightfully so. For any musician or any artist, I will always applaud them making art that just feels very authentic and true to who they are as a person. So there is my review of Halsey's latest album. Let me know in the comments what songs you enjoyed most from the album or what songs you love from Halsey in general. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it until the very end of the video. And until next time, bye.